Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Champions League, the Europa League and the Conference League, putting new predictions for what's going to happen in the the next round of the games. The draw was done yesterday, so let's go into the first one, which is the Champions League. You see Porto versus Arsenal, it's a decent game. Napoli versus Barca, that's a high class game. PSG versus Sociedad, I feel sorry for Sociedad, finishing top of the group, going through it all to get PSG. Because they've finished second in the group of death. That is really annoying and it feels a bit rigged on PSG's part. Inter versus Atletico, I like the sound of that game. PSV versus Dortmund, it's a decent game, you know. Lazio versus Bayern, I imagine it's a cakewalk for Bayern that. City versus Copenhagen. Copenhagen managed to get out of the group with United in it and then back to Manchester to go. But a game against City, it's a bit tight on them. But imagine we'll get them in a big crowd coming into the first game. And then Leipzig versus Real Madrid, it should be a cakewalk for Real Madrid. And this is who I think is going to win the games. Obviously I think Arsenal, Barca, PSG, Inter, PSV, Bayern and Real Madrid go to the next round. The PSV Dortmund one, I'm wearing a Dortmund shirt. I said in my last video I think Dortmund will make it final competition, but I just don't know. I feel like PSV might just pull something out of the bag for literally no reason. I just feel like, you know, that'll be the upset of the round. Inter Milan to beat Atletico, pretty bit of an upset. PSG should beat Sociedad. Barca should beat Napoli. Arsenal should beat Porto, but you never know. And Real Madrid should go through as well. That's it to say on the Champions League. I spoke about a lot of my opinion on Champions League in my other Champions League video that I did a couple of days ago. So it's my point to go to other ones like the Europa League, and this is what the draw looking like, because in Europa League, the Champions League teams dropping down and the Europa League teams that finished second, and it is a decent mixed bag in here. Feyenoord versus Roma, which, if I'm remembering right, was that not the Conference League final a couple of years ago when Roma won it, or is it the other way around? I can't remember. I think that was the final. Milan versus Rennes, decent game. Lens versus Freiburg, okay. Young Boys versus Sporting, Benfica versus Toulouse, Braga versus Karabag, Galatasaray versus Sparta Prague, and Shakhtar versus Marseille. All interesting games, all games that, you know, could go either way. I do think Roma, Milan, Lens, Sporting, Toulouse, Braga, Galatasaray and Marseille are going to go through, which would leave us with this being the set of teams going into the next round. At that round of 16, with obviously West Ham, Brighton, Rangers, Atalanta, Liverpool, Villarreal, Slavia Prague and Leverkusen joining them. That is a decent set of teams in Europa League, you know. That's going to be a good competition coming to the end of it. And that's why I think these are the teams that are going to make it into the round after that, into the final 8 of the Europa League. Roma, Milan for Italy, decent teams, you know. West Ham, Brighton and Liverpool all making it to the quarterfinals in my opinion for the Premier League. Leverkusen making it into the one for Germany. Galatasaray and Marseille also there as well. All good teams. Galatasaray and Marseille, good teams with like good players that are a bit past it, but I feel like Europa League standards still. Liverpool obviously a great team in the Premier League right now. West Ham, Brighton showing the strengths as well. Leverkusen top of the Bundesliga and fighting for it all. And Roma being managed by Jose Mourinho, and it probably could be his last season at Roma as well. He's going to be trying to get a trophy with him to end on a high note. So it's going to be a tough competition coming to that. That final 8 is a nice final 8, but you never know what the football throws at you. It can turn you around. And on to the Conference League. The Conference League, another tournament where it's this one, it kind of drops. The teams aren't as good going into this. Sturm Graz, Bratislava, Servette, Ludogorets, Union Saint-Gilloise versus Frankfurt. The Union Saint-Gilloise versus Frankfurt is a good game. That's a Europa League standard game in my opinion. Real Betis versus Dinamo Zagreb. That's another Europa League standard game in my head. I feel like they're both Europa League teams. Olympiacos versus Fenerbahce. Ajax versus Bodo Glimt. Molde versus Legia Warsaw. And Ghent versus Maccabi Haifa. All decent teams. I do feel like the wins will. Sturm Graz will beat Bratislava in my opinion. Ludogorets to beat Servette. Union Saint-Gilloise, I think they'll wipe the floor with Frankfurt the way they play. Real Betis versus Zagreb. Olympiacos to beat Fenerbahce. Ajax to win their game. Legia Warsaw to win theirs. And Ghent to win their game. It's a good mixed bag in there. And that'll leave us in the next round coming with Joining those teams, Lille, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Victoria Pleasant, Club Bruges, Villa, Fiorentina, Athens and Fenerbahce. Decent teams, in this competition to fight for it. And that's why I do think in the end you'll end up with Union St-Gala going a bit far in the competition. They'll have a lot of the Brighton players that come through the academy into Union St-Gala and go back to Brighton. So you can see a few highlights of players from that, but I don't think they're going to go into the semis. Real Betis, I think a team that can take it far. They showed what they can do in Europa League last year, getting to the quarters, I think they got to, before we beat them. No, it must have been the round of 16 that they got to, and then we beat them. And then we got beat by, remembering, Ajax are going to be a real tough opponent for anyone that comes up against them in this. It's, Ajax have had a bad season, but it's still Ajax at the end of the day, innit? And a competition like this, they'll see a sight for a trophy. Lille, always just in and around these matches, so expect something off them. Villa, I think, are going to be taking it, to be honest. Let's face it, managed by Emre. He knows Europe. He wins in Europe. He does it back to back to back. He just loves Europe. So surely they're going to be the favourites. Fiorentina and Fenerbahce joining them as well, in my opinion. And that just leaves one other team out of the group we had then of all these. Sturm Graz, Ludogorets, Olympiacos, one of these teams to push into that quarterfinal as well, and maybe get semi-final place to turn off a shock result, because Ajax, Fenerbahce, Real Betis are never guaranteed. I feel like the USG, Lille and Fiorentina are going to make it if they don't come against each other into the quarterfinals. But I just see it being Villa in that final. Maybe against Lille or Ajax. I think Ajax would be a good game. Villa Ajax, what a game that would be. But yeah, early prediction. It is an early prediction, yeah, but this is my early prediction of who I think is going to win each tournament. Bayern, I just feel like Bayern's going to win the Champions League. I just do. Like the way they've been playing, the way Kane's playing. I know they're not top of the league right now, but I think that's going to push them on even more. Kane's going to end his trophyless route right before the Euros and get another one at the Euros. I just see it happening. And then Europa League, Leverkusen, I just feel like Leverkusen's going to win it. They've been playing so well and they're in this competition. Leverkusen, the main challengers are Liverpool for it. Leverkusen Liverpool is going to be a crazy game. If it happens, that's going to be the game to watch of the week. I feel like it can trump some Champions League games. The football's going to get played in that game is going to be top level. And as I said, I think Aston Villa are going to walk the Conference League under Emre. They know what they're going to do. It's the Champions League and the Europa League. They're going to have a lot more challenges. Like as I said, Leverkusen, they're going to be challenged by Roma under Jose Mourinho. They've got Liverpool in there, Brighton, West Ham. There's a lot of good teams in the other two competitions, but Aston Villa, I feel like, are by far the best team in the Conference League right now. So I do think Villa are going to win it. I think the English teams are going to do well in Europe this year, but I just think these two German teams are just going to be a step above the way they're playing football right now, and that's going to send a lot of eyes looking at Xabi Alonso, especially from Real Madrid losing Ancelotti this year. You might see him move there, but he might just want to work his project in Leverkusen, to be fair. That is my predictions for this video, guys. That is what I've predicted, and I'll obviously look back at this come March. It's a while away now, yeah, but time flies, time flies when you're having fun, and hopefully you've had fun watching this episode, guys. And if you have, please leave a like, it'd be much appreciated, and if you've not already, please subscribe. That'll be greatly appreciated. And let me know who you think is going to win Champions League in the comments, or who you think is going to win the next round of 16 or the quarterfinals, or let me know what your predictions are for Europe this year. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.